There are over 60 marriage options in Skyrim, and I'm going to show you where you can find them, who they are, and if they're really the right one for you. Before we begin, let's go over how to get married in Skyrim and what that even means for the legendary dragonborn. The first thing you need to do is find the right man, mer, or even beast that makes the heart flutter. Then you need to get your hands on an amulet of Mara. These can be obtained in many locations, like loot chests or even purchasing them from multiple vendors. Then all you need to do is wear the amulet and approach your destined lover, and a speech option will appear to propose. Usually before this option appears, there is a certain criteria that must be fulfilled by each individual, which is usually just a quest or other small matter. You will have a wedding ceremony at the Temple of Mara located in Riften, 24 hours after your proposal. Talk about shotgun wedding, or crossbow wedding? You get what I mean. After you have wed your beloved, you can send them to one of your homes located in Skyrim, where they will wait for you patiently, and wait, and keep waiting. The Dragonborn is quite busy. Some may even open up shops, and you can collect gold from them daily. So who are the people that you can marry? Who are the most unique? And what gets them ticking? Let's start with the female options in today's video, and the men at a later date. Also, I might get some of these names wrong, so just forgive me. And also, just so everyone is aware, the men and women in Skyrim can marry either gender and any race. Aella the Huntress. Definitely a unique option. Aella is a Nord and a member of the Companions, and even more so, a member of the Circle within the Companions. So yes, she is a werewolf. To marry her, you have to have finished the Glory of the Dead quest within the Companions. Aella's mother and her mother before her, and so on, have all joined the Companions as Shield Sisters back to the times of Herodi Blackblade. They are a fierce lineage that has proven themselves time and time again. Aella grew up with her father in the woods and hunted every day. If you pick Aella, then you definitely like the wild ones. Just know that she doesn't always stay at your house full time, as she may have many other obligations to attend to. Aeria is a Nord located at Angus Mill. In fact, she is actually the owner of this mill after her father died in the Great War, and it was passed down to her. Unfortunately, her father's debt is a lot to bear, and she finds herself penniless and bogged down. To marry her, you'll have to first deliver a note to the Jarl of Dawnstar for her, but then she's all yours, including her father's debt. Not really, but that would be funny. Anwen is a Redguard priest located at the Temple of Dibella in Markarth, and you know what they say about those Dibellan priestesses. Beyond that, there's not much more to her. An interesting fact about her, though, is that before the Hearthfire DLC was released, she was the only Redguard woman available for marriage. Pretty wild. Avrusa Serethi. She is a Dunmer, or Dark Elf for the layman's, located at Serethi Farms in the Rift. She has quite a tale to tell. She was once an alchemist with her own shop back in Morrowind. Eventually, her family fled Morrowind after the Red Mountain disaster, and they purchased this farm in Skyrim. They would eventually take in another Dunmer, who she considered to basically be an uncle, and he taught her how to grow Nirnroot. You must complete the quest of giving her 20 jazz grapes before she will marry you. She also says some interesting things when married that others do not, just based on her lineage. The Serethis were a prominent family in House Redoran and were actually next in line to rule during the events of Morrowind. So go out and marry that highborn. Borgok the Stillheart is an orc warrior found in the orc stronghold of Morkazgur. Borgok is recently coming of age and as such has to be married off to one of the other orc clan chiefs, as she is the daughter of her own clan's chief. To marry her, you have to either convince her to leave the clan or pay her dowry off. Braylina Morion is a Dunmer located at the College of Winterhold. She is an apprentice of the mystic arts and isn't fond of talking about herself or her race. She is regarded as naturally talented though. To marry her, you'll have to help her complete an experiment. Once you do that, she is free to be pursued. Camilla Valerius. Yes, we all know Camilla at this point. She's an Imperial located at the Riverwood Trader in Riverwood. To marry her, you'll have to complete the Gold Claw quest, and if you haven't completed that quest 100 times already, are you even playing Skyrim right? Dravinia the Stoneweaver is a Dunmer mage found at Kynes Grove. She's an expert at alteration magic, and her job is to keep the steam-scorched mines safe, ensuring that the tunnels do not collapse. To marry her, you'll have to complete her quest of giving her frost salts. Gorza Gerboggle, an Arc blacksmith located in Markarth. Gorza grew up in an orc tribe, but she grew tired of their strict ethics and rules. She decided to leave her tribe and joined the Legion as a blacksmith. That's what she did for 10 years before leaving the army and starting her own smithy in Markarth. To marry her, you'll have to find the last scabbard of Akrosh, a book, and deliver it to her. Gilfrey is an Imperial that is located at Mixwater Mill in Eastmarch. Gilfrey owns the mill, but most of her workers have run off to join the Civil War, and she is struggling to keep the mill running. You'll need to chop some wood for her before she'll even consider a proposal. She must have a thing for lumberjacks. Hilland is a Nord found at Buyild's Retreat or outside of Thirskmead's Hall on the island of Solstheim. You'll have to help Hilland retake Thirskmead Hall from those pesky Reiklings. You will also need to deliver to her 50 Reikling spears. Good luck! Iona is a Nord located at Honeyside in Riften. She is the housecarl of Riften that is appointed to you by the Jarl. She can be married at any time. Janassa. She is a Dunmer Ranger that you'll find lounging in the Drunken Huntsman in Whiterun. When you first encounter her, she will offer up her skills as a mercenary for 500 septims. You'll have to accept this fee to be able to propose to her. Jordis the Sword Maiden is a Nord warrior found in Proudspire Manor in Solitude. Jordis is the housecarl that is awarded to you by the Solitude Jarl. Lydia. It's Lydia, guys. Is there even more to say? Mjol the Lioness, a Nord warrior found in Riften. Mjol has traveled the lands of Tamriel for years, taking on multiple adventures and quests, a main character in her own right. Recently, she went on a dungeon dive in an ancient Dwemer ruin. Unfortunately, she was nearly killed by a Dwemer centurion and lost her family's sword. She was then saved by a man named Aaron who pulled her out. You'll have to help her get her sword back before you can marry her. Also, if you marry Mjol, plan on marrying Aaron as well, because he never stops following her around, even when she is sent to one of your homes. Morwen is a Nord found in the Skull village. Morwen is originally from Skyrim, but her mother's people are the Skulls. After her parents ended up dying, she decided to come to Solstheim to live with her mother's people. You can marry her once the Skull and the village have all been freed. Muri is our first Breton on the list, and she can be found at the Hag's Cure in Markarth. Muri has an interesting story. She grew up in Windhelm with Clam Shattershield. She was then seduced by a man named Elaine Dufont, who wanted to use Muri's friendship to help him steal a precious weapon from the Shattershields. Once the clan found out about the plot, they accused Muri of being part of it and they drove her away to Markarth, where she now resides as an apothecary's apprentice. To marry her, you'll have to complete the Morning Never Comes quest. Najada Stonearm, a Nord located at Jorvaskr. She is also a member of the Companions, similar to Aella, though she is not a werewolf. You'll have to complete the Companions' main questline to be able to marry her. Orla, a Nord priestess found in the Temple of Dibella. Not much to say beyond that, but you'll have to complete the quest, the Heart of Dibella, if you want to ask for her hand. Rhea, our second and last Redguard female option. She is the housecarl that is awarded by the Jarl of Falkreath. She is pretty awesome with her dual-wielding scimitars. Rhea is an Imperial. She can be found at Jorvaskr in Whiterun. Yes, she is another companion, and yes, you will have to complete the main questline before she becomes available as an option. Senna, a Breton and another priestess of Dibella. You'll have to do the same things as all the other priestesses of Dibella. Javi, our first lusty Argonian citizen. She can be located in Windhelm at the Argonian Assemblage. She's a pretty upbeat and hopeful person considering her circumstances, and she's always in high spirits. She will give you a quest to help her retrieve her personal amulet, and once you've done that, you can marry her. But you also learn that she used to be a former thief, and she can teach you some nifty tricks. Sylgia, a Nord found in Shore's Stone. Sylgia is a miner in Shore's Stone. Her parents actually own the Darkwater Crossing mining settlement, just north of Shore's Stone. To marry her, you'll have to help deliver letters to her family, as she recently became injured in the mines and can't do it herself. Kari, our first and only female Altmer option in the game. She can be found in Solitude. She's a tailor, and to have her marry you, you'll have to help her with an important task of trying on outfits that the Jarl might wear. It's a tough job, but someone has to do it. Temba Widearm, a Nord located in Iverstead. Temba operates a mill, their which of course has fallen on hard times, mostly because of the bears in the area, according to her words. If you want to marry her, you're going to have to prove your worth and bring her 10 bear pelts, and with a last name like hers, it's probably in your best interest. Uthgerd the Unbroken, a Nord that can be found at the Bannered Mare in Whiterun. Uthgerd has an interesting past. She once tried to join the Companions, but found herself accidentally murdering a boy on her initiate task. The Companions then denied her. She now holds a big grudge against them. To marry her, you'll actually have to face her in a brawl and win. Sounds like an interesting way to meet your significant other. Viola Giordano, an Imperial located in Candlehearth Hall in Windhelm. Viola has a weird obsession with the Butcher of Windhelm, the current serial killer that prowls the streets. She seems deathly afraid of him, but also very curious as well. She also has an obsession with a boat captain that frequents the tavern. He even considers her one of his problems. If you feel like joining these people in the Stalker Brigade, then you'll have to rat out Revan Sodri during That Was Always Their quest. She will then fall in love with you too. Isolde, last on the list and certainly not last in our hearts, is Isolde, a Nord that can be found in Whiterun. Isolde has much respect for the Khajiit caravans, and she wants to offer them a trade they can't refuse so that they can continue to do business with them in the future. She needs a mammoth tusk, and if you bring her one, well, you guessed it, you'll be able to marry her. Thank you guys so much for watching. So who was or is your favorite? I'm actually really curious. Leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2. If you guys like Bethesda games or RPGs, then stick around because we have a lot more content on the way. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next.